Welcome to my channel and thank you for tuning in to another review. Today, this review is going to be, as the title states, a battle of the homages. I have in front of me 3 homage watches that I have had separate reviews for on my channel, and I thought, why not compare them? Let's see which one is the best. So this is the triple threat match between heimdallr, Proxima and Steeldive. In my opinion, these are one of the top, if not a few of the top micro brands coming from China. So I'd like to go through each watch individually and compare them against each other, and hopefully at the end see if I can come to a conclusion which one is the best in my opinion, and overall with everything considered. So here we go. I've got the 3 watches lined up here. I've got the Proxima, homage of the Marine Master. I've got Steeldive, which is a Turtle 6105 homage, and I've got the heimdallr 62 Mas homage. Now these are all from different micro brands. I will say, actually, between these micro brands, you will find the same design watch in their range as well, because I have seen the Turtle homage produced by heimdallr as well, and I've seen a few different ones, I think, within the Proxima range as well. And that's the interesting point. With all 3 micro brands, they do have their own ranges. So they have started off with doing homages to popular Seiko models, but they also have, if I can say, their own designs. However, they haven't got their own movements. They use predominantly Seiko movements. And this is what I'm noticing across China, the manufacturers in China, when it comes to watches. They are starting to move away from the replicas, because the replica market is saturated, heavily saturated. You've got so many different grades, and yes, they still get bought and sold frequently. However, I think it's really interesting what they're trying to do here. So they're trying to compete or enter the watch market with their own designs. So all 3 micro brands have their own ranges, and I've got all 3 from AliExpress. So they have their own seller pages, and you can go into the selection of designs available. The good thing with this is they all use reliable movements. They'll use Seiko, predominantly the NH35s or 36s depending on the function. They'll use the Miyotas or the Seagull movements, and a few of the Seagull movements, they are actually 1-1 clones of the popular and the high-end Swiss ETA movements. And as far as these micro brands go, they are bringing something really interesting to the table. I believe there's an increased awareness of the build quality that's increased. They're using top quality materials. Obviously the downside is they don't manufacture their own movements, but I mean, if you can get hold of Seiko movements, why fix it if it's not broken? Because Seiko have proven they have, if not the best reliable workhorse movements out there. They hardly need servicing, they run for years, and they are cheap to get hold of. If you actually go onto AliExpress or even eBay, your Seiko movement genuine, you can get hold of it from as little as £20. So not bad, to be honest. Right, so let's start the review. I want to start with the Steeldive 6105 Seiko Turtle homage. And let's have a look. Let's start with the bracelet. Now, the bracelet on this I felt was so poor that I actually took it off, and I went with a cheap silicone strap. What I found with the bracelet is it felt quite light, even though it had solid end links. The quality just wasn't there for me. It made a really nasty, clangy, rattly noise. Wasn't a fan. The clasp was a bit stiff to close, and I just didn't really like the way it felt on my wrist. The edges on the curved, so it had curved links, so the edges on the Steeldive, they were not sharp, but they were as soft or smooth as the others. bracelet on the Proxima, a lot better, way better. You've got these long lugs here. You've got this linear brushing down here. You've got the edges of the center that are polished. So again, that's telling me straight away this has been machined. It's been processed a lot more than the Steeldive. This also has solid end links, which sit really well, so they are deep set into the lugs of the watch. When it comes to clasp, it's the same clasp as the Steeldive. This stamped cheapo, buck nasty clasp. I hate it. Okay, on the heimdallr, beautiful. Yeah, I'm a big fan of these milled clasps. They're quite solid. I have had in the past where some of these clasps, even from the Seikos, you know, if you have a little accident, you just bend the clasp and then it doesn't click properly, it doesn't engage properly. But I can't see that happening with this. So for me, on the bracelets, the 6 screw mask comes out on top. Now that's out the way. Let's look at the case, the actual case finish. So I was really impressed on this for the Steeldive. Beautiful finish. Look at that machining here. Now, you know, China were known, I think, back in the day to having really poor level of machining on the metal. You know, you'd get burr, you'd get rough edges. You put a watch on, like at those cheapo replicas from China, and you'll get a nasty wound on your wrist. You have to hit A&E. But not this one. This is quite true to the actual shape of the watch it is trying to homage. And there's a beautiful transition between the edge here, which is highly polished, and just goes to brushed. I really like this part here as well. Really smooth, no sharpness at all. So this is a high quality of machining on the watch. Solid case as well. And then you've got your case back, which has got a beautiful logo. I actually really like this logo. It's different. I've noticed a few of these micro brands are coming out with the same thing. They're all doing fish. So I think I've seen one with a piranha on the back. I've seen one with an octopus. I've seen one with a San Martin with that 3D shark. I quite like that logo, by the way. But it's a diver. Well, it's diving kit. So you got your mask, your gas bottles, and your flippers. The thing is between these three, as I mentioned, they all got the same movements, and they share the same materials like sapphire and ceramic. So really can't compare between them. They all are similar in that. But let's see what we can find in finishing. The crown is basic. There's no engraving on the crown. And when you do screw it out, put it in, it's quite smooth. The threads do catch nicely. There's no crunchiness, there's no grinding. The actual crown and the stem seem pretty solid. You know, I would say on Seikos, I'll find the opposite. On some of the crowns, on the older models like the SKX, when you pop it out and you can literally, you've got so much play in the head that you think, I don't know, if you could, I don't know, probably snap the crown. You don't get that with this. And actually, when you do slide it in, it feels really nice. Because your fingers go across this part of the watch. So the crown on the Proxima, it's a bigger crown with these spines on the side. No logo on the crown. Really heavy shine. You can see the case of my phone and the actual camera lens. Finishing, you know what? This is finished amazingly well. The machining on this is they've put some real effort into this, that's all I'm going to say. So if you look here, it's a monocog case, number one, but you see this transition from brushed to shine here, high shine. Then you've got this brush through the center from the lug holes, and then you've got a high polish again, and then it goes across to brushed. Now you can see these lines, but they're not sharp at all. They're just so smooth. So that has been done really, really well. The back, I already mentioned in my review of the watch, I hate this logo. I think it's so cheap. You can just about make out the writing, so they should have engraved it somehow a lot better. Maybe something in 3D. I mean, that looks like a child's, it's for a child, but at least make the dolphin pop a bit more. But the finishing, you cannot mess with it. Okay, so compare that to the 62 mask, the heimdallr. In comparison, it is well machined. And there's a similar thing where you've got your high polish on the sides and you've got your brushing on the top, high shine on the bottom. So the case back, I prefer the case back here. Nice bold logo, stands out. Very decent logo actually, I love that shark logo. And then your letters here, they stand out with the information on there. Now this watch, it is edgy. I mean, that is forgivable because I think that's down to more design rather than poor machining. I think because they're trying to homage the 62 mass, and this is the design, and it is what it's meant to be: sharp, edgy. There. So for me, the Proxima on the actual case is a lot better than the Steeldive and the heimdallr, purely because it's got different levels here, different facets, and shows a lot more workmanship. And the fact that they were able to do that is brilliant. Okay, let's hit the dials. Basic black dial. Now Steeldive don't do any of the colorway options on this. The indices, they're a dark green, quite dull, but I don't know if that's a design feature because I'm pretty sure they could have made it brighter. Hands are pretty decent, pretty basic. I'm a huge fan of this seconds hand. It's like a traffic light. The sapphire glass doesn't have AR coating, but it does give a mean shine, no doubt. You can tell that's sapphire. And then you've got a ceramic bezel which looms up. Fit and finish, lovely. There's no gaps. The bezel rotation is really tight, really nice. There's no back play. Pretty decent click. Logos are sharp. Nothing blurry about, no poor printing. So that's that. Okay, compare that to the Proxima. Now that's same dial, black, but it's already a lot better just because of the double dome sapphire used here and the AR reflective coating. So it gives it this really amazing depth on the dial. Makes it look quite deep set. I prefer these indices to the ones on the Steeldive. The date window. So in comparison to the Steeldive has this beveled edge lined. So the finishing here is maybe a bit better on the actual date window. The hands are a lot better. You can see a bit more work done on the hands. Brushed, nice wide area for the loom. Second hand, good workmanship, brilliant. And then let's move to the heimdallr. Wham! Check that out. This beautiful lustrous green sunburst dial just pops out of it. Pop, pop. Again, it's got basic hands, but it does have these large baton-like indices that are quite striking. They stand out. I mean, you can't walk past this watch without just, you know, it catching your attention, catching your eye. Again, sharp looks. Bezel's nice and tight. Coin edge. Beautiful logo on the top. That shark. And clear writing, crisp. No spelling mistakes. And it's got that date window, which is finished really nicely. Slight dome, but it's not. It's flat from the top, but it does come out a bit. So it's slightly domed. And the AR coating on there is amazing. You can see a lot more than I think the Proxima. The bezel on this is of course sapphire. So it's a tough one to call. I know when it comes to the dial now, I'd put the Steeldive at the end, at last, number 3. Between these two, Proxima don't do different colorways. They actually do a limited edition meteorite dial, which looks absolutely fantastic. But as they are now, the heimdallr's got a better dial, and they do different versions of the dial. So they do a blue and they do a black, and the blue is a sunburst as well, but the black one is just a plain matte black dial. This has got a better bezel with a sapphire, but they do come in ceramic as well. This has just got a ceramic bezel. So on the dial, it's a tough one to call really between these two. I mean, that's number 3, but tough one to call because this has got your deep set dial, double dome sapphire, and this has got this lovely green here. So on the dial, I'm not too sure, you know. I'm gonna leave you at that on the dial. Okay. Weight, I'm not going to compare the weights. The different watches, they're trying to do different things, so that's irrelevant. Okay, I don't think there's much else you can really compare because we're only comparing looks. Like I said, we can't compare movements, we can't compare the materials. They are more or less the same, except obviously that being a double dome sapphire and having AR between the two there. This one doesn't have that. So I think I'll summarize here. 1, 2, or 3. Let's put them in place. So this one's going to be last. Reason being, the bracelet was poor. Plain crown. I love that though. And no AR coating. For me, that adds value. So that's number 3. Between these two, tough call, you know, I'll be honest, really tough call. But I would have to say the heimdallr comes out on top. Now, my reason for that would be based on the clasp. Milled clasp, better quality of clasp, the signed crown, and the logo on the back. The case back's a lot better. And this is, I think, my only problem with the Proxima, where They could have done something with the crown, gave it something a bit more, that made it more special, and then definitely should have changed that and the clasp. If they do those two things, this would come out on top, in my opinion. Possibly making a sunburst dial as well. Obviously, this looks a lot better. There's a lot more workmanship gone into the watch, and like with these two, they are the same price point. So I'd put this number one because the attention to detail is greater, and you know, it's about these little touches which they actually give it that brand recognition. This is what makes the customer happy. So if you look at your Seikos, you know, they have what people are doing. They're putting the S crown on the SKXs, which shows you people do want something on the crown. Case back, you know, clasp. These are the little things which you notice and you ascribe with quality, you associate with quality on a watch. So micro brand heimdallr, I think they've hit those. Yeah, they've hit those. They've hit that target basically. So I mean, this only come out second. I think I want to add the Steeldive being here might be slightly unfair. Only reason I say that is these two are closely matched on the price point. This one is slightly off the price point. Steeldive do actually do other divers that would fit in to the price point category here, and it would, you can argue, make a better comparison. However, the designs on that level are quite ugly. I didn't really like them, and this is the design I liked. And something else as well, heimdallr actually do exact version of this, but they have their dial on there, so that would probably sort out the issues I've got with this. And so from heimdallr, if you bought this, you probably get a better bracelet, you probably get some logo on the crown, and you'll get a better dial. Accuracy wise, it's the same movement, so that actually won't mean anything because you just got variation between the movements, but I'll mention it anyway. So the Steeldive over a couple of days averaged out about 3.4 seconds ahead, and the Proxima coming about 4.5 seconds over a couple of days per day ahead. The heimdallr, this is actually quite amazing because it probably just stopped working at the moment. So I think it's run out of juice. But I checked this over 2 days, and on the first day, believe it or not, it was 0.1 seconds ahead of the actual time. Today I've checked it and it's come out at 1.1 second. But I think that 0.1 second might be down to my reaction because I'm using this app to time them. So this is the most accurate out of these three. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you agree or you don't agree with the way I've put these three. 1, 2, and 3. But it's very close between these two. If you get heimdallr Proxima, it would be a tough one to call. They both got different features and they're trying to be slightly different things. So guys, yeah, don't forget to hit the subscribe button that's going to pop up on your top left corner. What I will do, I'll leave the other videos that I've done on these watches, the reviews, if you want to see a bit more detail on them. And thank you for tuning in. As always, please subscribe, hit the like button, and let me know if you got anything to say. Thank you for watching. Sorry, I can't believe I forgot the loom shot. I do apologize, everyone. Let's do a loom shot. 3, 2, 1. Mate, that's like a lighthouse here. It's like a light show. Love it. For me, hands down, the Steeldive and the Proxima, much better loom. But the heimdallr, you can see there, such a bright loom on that. So bright. Look, I'm doing that. So that's the actual color there, the dark green. But when I'm doing that, it's just glaring the camera. But I love this two-tone loom. It's definitely a feature. You can see turquoise on the outside, this green on this in the center, and then on the Proxima you've got turquoise on the inside and green on the outside. Yeah, I just came back to add the loom shot. That's it. Thank you for watching.